This morning, as we have gathered in God's place, turn with me, if you will, to Isaiah chapter 43. Same text found in your worship guide. But if you got your Bible, this morning, as they were singing, I got happy.
That's all right.
Brother Johnson, I'm thinking about the new thing.
Yes, sir. That's all right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's marvelous.
It is. Yes, sir.
Amen.
Amen.
This morning, out of Isaiah chapter 43, the word found in the 16th verse down to the 21st. Thus says the Lord, who makes a way in the sea, a path in the mighty waters, who brings out chariot and horse, army and warrior. They lie down, they cannot rise again. They are extinguished, wiped out, quenched like a wick. Do not remember what was, the former things, or consider those old things that you were tied to. I am about to do a new thing.
All right.
Now it springs forth, and the question is, can't you see it? I will make a way in the wilderness, rivers in the desert, that dry place. The wild animals will honor me, the jackals, you know we got some jackals out here, and the ostriches, for I give water in the wilderness, rivers in the desert to give drink to my chosen people. The people who I made, I called, I formed, I shaped for myself, so that they might declare my praise. Don't remember the former things or consider the things of old. I am about to do a new thing.
All right.
This morning I want to talk to you about the Lord who does new things. The Lord who does new things. My brothers and my sisters, we live in a world where many are looking for a means of escape from the problems and the trappings of their lives. We use our imaginations to invoke different images and ideas that can allow us, like that old commercial where the woman would have all the things going on in the home. The kids would be running rampant. The husband would be making all kinds of outrageous requests. And she would look at the screen and say, "Calgon, take me away." If for a brief moment she or he would have the opportunity to get away into a place of quiet comfort and solace and solitude, where the things that were going on the outside would no longer impede on what was happening on the inside. For some of us, we slip away in our own quiet places and our own quiet times, where our minds become places that we can sink into on the job. We can put our headphones on. We can turn away to our devices and just for a few moments escape the calamity and the problems in our homes, our finances, and even our inability to get along with people at work who cannot identify our pain. It seems that there are moments and times in our lives where we need to escape. But it also seems that there are things, situations, and circumstances we just can't get away from. Sickness knocks on our door and we can't get away from it. Death shows its face again and we can't get away from it. Trouble knocks on our doors. Our children failing in schools. Our communities are in crisis. Drugs and crime, political corruption. Everything's going on, and it seems like we just cannot get away. We become shackled. We become imprisoned by our circumstances and our situations, and we find ourselves nothing more than political prisoners and casualties of a war that we don't even know how it started, what's going on, and when it will end. And on today, the word of God that we look at out of Isaiah 43, which historically is referred to as Second Isaiah. It's a prophet in the tradition of Isaiah. We know from chapter 6 who comes on the scene and recounts his calling in the 6th chapter, the first verse where he says, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne high and lifted up, and the Lord's glory, the Lord's robe, the Lord's persona filled the temple. It's through this time stamp that we understand that this prophet was called during a time and during a season of Israel's prosperity prior to Babylonian captivity in the year 587. In Isaiah chapter 43, we pick up their story where now they are exiles, they are strangers in a foreign land, and they find themselves being picked on and persecuted and pushed aside, unable to see the forest through the trees. They're unable to imagine their circumstances being any different. How many of us find ourselves in moments and situations in our lives where our vision is clouded and we cannot see the light, nor can we see a way out? We've got more bills than our income allows. We've got more troubles in our body than our age shows. We've got situations in our families that we don't want to talk about. We feel like we're exiled, pushed aside. Nobody wants to be around us because nothing about us says anything good. Nothing in our lives says anything good will happen, and we find ourselves being isolated and alone, feeling like God has abandoned us and God has forgotten all about us. How many times do we find ourselves feeling like nobody understands nor nobody knows what's going on in our lives? We get picked on at work. We get pushed aside at school. We get victimized by bullies, and nobody ever hears our cries. But I got news for us this morning. Every time we open up our mouths and we let the Lord know what's going on, God has not forgotten about us, nor has God abandoned us. We might feel like exiles in a strange land at times, but the God that was there in former times says, I will be with you now. And it's Isaiah 43 that opens up this chapter where God says to them that when you go through the fire, I'll be with you. When you go through the flood, I'm there with you. No matter what you experience, no matter what situations happen in your life, all you got to do is look to your left, look to your right, look behind you, and look in front of you, and you'll find that I am there. That they understand and they know that God has not abandoned them no matter what the situation might look like. Maybe they remembered the word that God gave to the prophet Jeremiah in the 29th chapter, the 6th through the 8th verse, where God said, go into Babylon, build your houses, live there, plant your crops, marry, have children, be good citizens, be good stewards over what I've given you, seek the welfare of the nation, and I who sent you into exile will also be the same one that will bring you out of your current situation. My brothers and my sisters, no matter what's going on in our lives, God will bring us out of our current situations. Our current situation might be unemployment and underemployment, but the God who provides all of our needs according to his riches and glory, and the quiet sang this morning, will open up the floodgates of heaven and pour us out blessings. The God who knows all about our situations, no matter how long we've been going through, is the same God that will bring us through. That's why this morning this text speaks to them. After 70 years of being unwelcome in the land they find themselves in, the Lord speaks through the prophet and gives them a tightly knit proclamation of the salvation that God will bring. That it begins with a self-introduction that proceeds immediately to describe God's act of deliverance and ends with reference to the culmination of God's people formed and shaped to give God praise. That this text gives comfort to those people who are battered on all sides by reminding them historically of what God had done for them. In the 16th verse of this 43rd chapter, God recounts historically how God brought them out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, that God overthrew Pharaoh and Pharaoh's army, and God allowed the Red Sea to cover them and told them, these same Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. In our lives, God's delivered us from some things that we never will see again. Some of us were delivered from the bottle, that God took the taste out of our mouths that we'll never thirst for it again. Some of us were delivered from some relationships that were not meant for our good, and God pulled us out no matter how many times they might have called or texted or tweeted or Facebooked us. But God brought us out of some stuff in order for us to never go back into. However, God doesn't want us to get stuck in those things. You see, my brothers and my sisters, the text helps them to avoid what is called spiritual escapism. What this means is that we retreat to a place of remembrance, and therefore we abdicate our calling to do God's will. What I mean by that is we get so stuck in the good times, we forget about the times that God still has for us to do. We get stuck in yesteryear, what we used to do, how we used to do it, who we used to do it with, and we forget about those that God still has for us to do it with. Therefore, he says to them, don't remember the former things. Don't get stuck in what was, but focus on what will be. Because you see, my brothers and my sisters, our memories are short. We can remember yesterday. We can remember 2 weeks ago. And I'm not talking about just because of your age. But we can't remember what God did for us in order to move us forward. We like to remember, and we should, when God healed our bodies. But God didn't heal your body for you to stay stuck where you were. God healed your body to help somebody else know that all things are possible. God didn't bring you out of that addiction, nor God did not bring you out of that abuse in order for you to say never again, but God did it in order for you to let somebody know that God can make a way through. That's why we cannot get stuck in what was. In our text today, God says something dynamic. God says to them, I am about to do a new thing. You see, my brothers and my sisters, I am represents the divine name of God. In Exodus chapter 3, verse 14, when Moses faces the burning bush and he comes up with all his excuses why he can't go to Egypt, says, I'm not the best presenter. I'm not one that is the best to able to stand before power because of my history and my background. He says, what should I tell him when I stand before Pharaoh? Who should I say has sent me? Because I cannot go in my own name. And God said to him, I am that I am has sent you. My brothers and my sisters, the God who does new things is the I am that's at work in all of our lives. I am the Lord your rock and your redeemer. of what God did. The I Am was the one that overthrew Egyptian power and authority. The I Am was the one who relieved them from the oppression and being victimized by a government that told them that there was no more room for them and wanted to build a wall. I Am is the one that's able to pull down the strongholds of power that the marginalized and the victimized might know God's saving grace. I Am is the one that has open arms for the stranger and the alien and the political prisoner and those seeking asylum. I Am is the one working up and down our community, bringing our sons and our daughters back into the life after they've gone to prison. I Am is the one that opened up the doors for you academically and professionally when all they saw was your skin. Yet God made a way for you. I Am is the one that works overtime when you find yourself sick. I Am the one doing a new thing, makes you well when you find yourself hungry. I Am the bread of life and the one that feeds you when you find yourself in darkness. I Am the light of the world and the one that guides you when you find yourself afraid. I Am the good shepherd and the one that protects you when you find yourself lonely and troubled. I Am who is the way, the truth, and the life, makes all things possible. I Am. A new thing that the great I Am is doing. First of all, he says, I am about to do a new thing. What that means, my family, is we've got to look not at the former things and what was, but we've got to examine how God did it before in order for us to trust God enough for what God will do again. I'm reminded of the history of St. Paul Church, where we were disappointed and we were put aside because in this church's history, we could not build in Orange where you had land. It was the city that used eminent domain to take what you had and push you aside. Through those years of worshiping in the basement of the Y, when you marched into this building, you found yourself in a new land. You were able to lift up your holy hands and thank God for what God has done. The God that saw you through every disappointment, the God that saw you through every trouble, is the God that did it before. And praise God, God's going to do it again. God's going to build a first salvation. God's going to give us a new answer. God's going to do it because He did it before. He'll do it again. Hallelujah. 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 What God's about to do. Just think about what God did for you before. But don't get stuck in that place. Because God's about to do something new. God's about to birth in some of us some new ministries in order to turn East Orange upside down. God's about to birth in you the power of God's Spirit. That when you walk into your office, your power and your presence by God's divine might is going to move some devils out your way. When you go into the classroom, God's going to overturn some situations where instead of them evaluating you, you'll be the one that'll be able to give a full account of all that God has done through God's children. God's going to work through some of us in order for us to be the new thing God desires. Amen. Says, I'm about to do a new thing. And you see, my brothers and my sisters, when you read the text, the new thing God does defies logic.
That's right.
Because you see, he says, I'm going to make water in the desert. You see, when they left Egypt, they left and they were in such a haste that they moved through the desert where God led them as a fire by night. All you got to do is look at the signs over there. And God led them by a cloud by day. Yet as they moved through the desert, Reverend Jack, they didn't have any water. They began to murmur and to complain. And Moses got so angry and so indignant, he took the very thing God had given them and he struck the rock and God gave them water. But God says, don't worry about what the rock has. Think about what I'm able to do. God says to them, I'm going to make rivers run in a desert where you never thought they could ever be. I'm going to do new things for you that your mind could not conceive, but by faith, God's going to do it. God's going to tear down some strongholds that have been holding you bound for a long time. God's going to drop some chains off your body in order for you to walk in the freedom that God showed you. God's going to do a new thing that's going to defy the logic of your supervisor, that they're going to promote you anyhow. God's going to do a new thing that they might deny your application, but God's going to open up a better door. God's going to do a new thing that eyes have not seen, that ears have not heard. Yet we're going to give God glory. We're going to give God praise. What God's going to do a new thing. But God always defies our logic. That's why Isaiah says, God's ways are higher than ours. God's thoughts far surpass ours. See, when God does a new thing, the text gives us an indication of what we do. Because it doesn't say that we ask God how you did it. We don't ask God where it came from. All it says is that the people that I formed, I called you by my name. Therefore, since I formed you and I'm doing a new thing, all you got to do is praise my name. All we got to do when God opens up that door is begin to bless the name of the Lord. All you got to do is God in your way. Just open up your mouth and give God glory. All you got to do is go out here and say, God, I thank you for my promotion. God, I thank you for my healing. God, I thank you for what you did for my children. God, I thank you for what you did for my church. We got to bless the Lord at all times. For God's new thing, a new thing, morning by morning, a new thing, season by season. God's doing a new thing. That's why my brothers and my sisters, a new thing means we got to get rid of some old things. Some old things are our mentality. Because he asked the question, can't you see what I'm doing? That means we got to take some blinders off and see what God is doing. All you got to do is think about this morning. There was no guarantee, but you're here right now. All you got to do is think about when the doctor gave you clear diagnosis, yet you trusted God for God's health. We've got to begin to throw off the chains and the shackles that we've allowed to bind us. For so long we cannot see what God is doing. God is opening up doors. God is raising up friends. God is moving folk out the way. God is going to have God's way because God's doing a new thing. We used to sing a song, I will do a new thing in you. Whatever you ask for, whatever you pray for, whatever you hope for, I will do a new thing. My brothers and my sisters, God's doing a new thing. Amen. That's why the Bible says, behold, and Paul says, all things are passed away. That means all things have become new. That means we can't get so stuck in old things. Old things are the people that we allow to be around us. Notice I didn't say we're around them. But we allow to be around us. That every time you talk about what God is doing, all they do is pour cold water. Every time you talk about how God blesses you and you start thanking God right where you are, they say don't take all of that. God is doing a new thing. Amen. And that new thing begins with each and every one of us. Amen. Let me tell you about God's new thing. They thought they had him hung high, but they stretched him wide enough. Bible says they looked up and they mocked him. But God used that to make a new thing called you. Because early Sunday morning when he rose, he gave us new life. That's your new thing in Jesus Christ.